Yeah, so in my opinion, this is, again, my recommendation. And the reason why I did it this way and presented the data to you guys was so that you guys could have these arguments and have these debates, have these debates in a amazing fashion. I really enjoyed listening to everyone's opinions during this. I really enjoyed listening to everyone's perspectives, and that is the reason why we do this. We're now going to move into motions, and again, anyone feel free to make the motions that you would like based on my recommendations, based on your own findings, and yeah. We now move into motions. Are there any motions at this time?
Point of information.
Yes.
Will we need to go through the bill as it's submitted and adjust the numbers to match what you just presented?
Yes, or whatever.
Or whatever ends up happening, yes.
Alright, I move to remove the Fisher School of Accounting
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to remove the Fisher School of Accounting by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 to remove the Rinker School of Building and Construction by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to remove Rinker School of Building and Construction by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 by renaming the Hefner School of Business to the Warrington College of Business by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to edit Herbert Wortham College, Hefner School of Business to the Warrington College of Business by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 by changing the Warrington College of Business number of 3 to 4 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to edit the number for the Warrington College of Business from 3 to 4 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes. Let me just give me 1 moment. Let me know when that goes through and then we'll continue.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the number of seats for the College of Journalism and Communications from 1 to 2.
There's been a
by
motion.
unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the number of journalism and communication seats from 1 to 2 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 by amending the number of graduate students from 12 to 11 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the number of graduate student seats from 12 to 11 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the number of people represented in the engineering college from 4 to 5 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the amount of people represented in the engineering college to change it from
4 to 5
by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1208 by changing the number of liberal arts and sciences centers from 9 to 8 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to amend SSB 2025-1208 to change the number of College of Liberal Arts and Sciences from 9 to 8 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. That should be everything. Let me know if it's changed.
Waiting for update, yeah.
Everyone's, yeah. change for everyone?
I see.
Are there any other motions at this time?
I move to move the line for Hamilton School for Classical and Civil Education to between agricultural. Oh wait, are the rest alphabetized? All right, never mind. I rescind the motion.
Okay. Yeah, they're not very alphabetized.
They're like a little alphabetized.
Like arts is in between Herbert and grad.
I think it's because it used to be fine arts, but then it got changed to art. Whatever the case may be, it's fine.
Either
It's not
way, it would be before Herbert, right?
F. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's based on engineering. E for engineering.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, I rescind the motion.
Yeah.
Should we alphabetize?
No, that's a separate conversation.
Not that, it adds up to be
Move
good.
to recommend and reviso.
Are there any other motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1208 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to pass SSB 2025-1208 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. Thank you everyone for adopting the spring reapportionment. Alrighty. We now chug along and we enter SSB 2025-1209. I also wanted to say that the authors are just the Judiciary Committee. If anyone has an issue with that, we can change it. And I will send you guys the fall reapportionment talk now. Does everyone have?
Yep.
Okay. I can just get started if that's okay with everyone. Seeing as there is an author present, my 5 minutes of presentation time starts whenever Preston's ready.
Preston is ready.
Okay, perfect. Hey guys, so this is my fall 2026 reapportionment plan. As you can see again, I only submitted a document that gets rid of the Graham area. As you can see on the next page, the Constitution defines the fall class as area governments receiving a minimum of 1 seat, and then all family housing residents together receiving a minimum 1 seat. I do have email correspondence with the IRHA president. She confirmed that the Graham area is no longer an area officially, even though the building is torn down, so is the area government. So thus we have to get rid of the Graham seat. The data that I present is going to kind of give a recommendation on where to put that seat. Okay, moving forward. So as you can see, these are all the numbers for the fall 2025 data sets. The highlighted numbers 32611 and 32612 are on-campus data zip codes. So I do not include 32611 and 32612 when I talk about the Alachua County zip codes as a whole, just because they do not constitute off-campus. The pie chart there that I made shows kind of the distribution between the zip codes in Alachua, showing that 32608, 32607, and 32601 are the most populated zip codes in Alachua, apparently. So moving on to the next slide, slide 5, you can see the numbers. So there's 63,138 registered UF students, 131 students on campus in the 32611 and 32612 zip codes, 14,336 students living in Alachua County, in those zip codes that I stated previously, minus 32611 and 32612, and 48,671 students stating that they live anywhere other than a zip code in Alachua County. You can see on the pie chart that is about 22% to 23% to 71% of students living in Alachua versus anywhere else. The next slide, again, this just shows the way that I calculated it. Students in Alachua County minus dorm students, and you get that 14,336 number. That divided by total registered students, 63,138, you get 0.227. So this goes to show kind of the absurdity of these numbers. I think that we all can acknowledge that this is not the best data set. However, this is the only data set that we were given to use. So this is what we have to work with. We have no other choice. This is the only thing that the registrar gave us. And then just to show the absurdity of the situation, if we were to correctly apportion the Senate seats strictly based on this data, we would give 8 Senate seats to students in Alachua County and 30 Senate seats outside of Alachua County. That is a huge deficit. That is insanely wrong. And I think that we can all acknowledge that the numbers are wrong, and that this is not accurate in the slightest and is not representative of the UF student body as a whole. Giving 30 Senate seats to students outside of Alachua County is not right. There is not 77% of students living outside of Alachua County, just like we know that there's not 131 students that live in dorms only. I think that 131 is the girls' side of Jennings. Okay, moving on to the next slide, you can see a side-by-side comparison of the first one on the left is all the zip codes in Alachua County, like I stated before, and then on the right you have the zip codes in Alachua County added in everything else. Thus leads to my recommendation. I am in favor of keeping the at-large model, at least for right now, for 38 off-campus seats. I think that this is a horrible situation to be in. There's no data, there's no correct data, and we know that, and we can all acknowledge that, but this is just what we have to work with, and I think for representation purposes, I'd rather the off-campus, 38 off-campus seat at large than bad representation and misrepresentation. So that is all for my presentation time. We now move into 5 minutes of question and answer starting now.
One question I just have is looking at how awful this data is.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we get it from, and is this the only data that we're allowed to use for reapportionment? I just am curious.
So this is directly from the registrar's office, and yes, this is the only data we're allowed to use for reapportionment.
Was this data, were you given a single zip code per student? Because obviously students can fill out their zip code in multiple areas, or were you given multiple zip codes per student?
No, so every student had a local address and a home address, and so we're just using the local addresses because that's how we apportion for, how the local address is basically what they state they live in college, and that's how we reapportion. And some people just filled out all zeros. Some people filled out all ones. Some people put in letters. People filled it out the way that they wanted to, and there's not a system set up in place that it had to be even an accurate zip code. There wasn't a system set up in place that when they collected the data that the zip code even had to exist. So I have just, I think, 1,000 data points of just zeros. So unfortunately, that is the data that we're given, and this is the data that we have to attempt to work with. And yeah, I hope that answered your question.
To your knowledge, is the data that you were given this year significantly different than data given in past years where the committee did end up deciding to opt for a multi-district model?
So I don't know because I wasn't in Senate, but I can speak to last year. And last year when they rolled for the at-large off-campus model again, they actually had better numbers than we do now. They had 28% of students saying that they lived in Alachua County. We only have 22. So we're actually worse off for numbers wise and accuracy. Right, seeing as there's no other questions, we now move into 5 minutes of debate. Are there any debate at this time?
I mean, to me, this makes sense. I think everyone here can agree that the data is somewhat flawed. So acknowledging that, I think it's representative to say, to use what we know based on the data and have 38 off-campus seats. I think making an assumption otherwise would be a biased recommendation.
Especially because everything's so inaccurate. If we try to do a district model, everything would be egregiously either overrepresented or underrepresented. And like the fact that this says 131 people even live on campus just like is so wrong. So just like understanding the Constitution that by, what did it say, area governments, and there's 12 left on campus in addition to the family housing residents, and just like when it comes to anything off campus, this you cannot interpret. Trying to interpret this, in my opinion, would actually lead to way worse representation at all when it comes to merit or anything. So like, yeah, that's like my opinion.
Do we have data for how many people live in the different on-campus districts?
Live in the different on-campus districts?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the first pie chart that I presented. And then all of those numbers, that is exactly how many people claim to live in each of those districts, in each of those zip codes.
I know, like the on-campus like area governments.
Oh,
Like, do we have data from those areas to know how many people live in them to ensure that we are apportioning them appropriately, giving them one seat each?
we can't get the data from IRHA. I had to get the data from the registrar and how people register that they live. But also, every single area government needs to have a seat no matter what. So in the Constitution, it states that area governments need a minimum of one seat. So no matter if we have the data or not, every single area government that is an area government needs a seat.
No, I understand that. My other worry would be like underrepresentation. If any of them are close enough to that they would reasonably should get more than one seat. We don't have data to actually
We
appropriately
can't,
do that.
I can't tell you. All I know is that 131 students live on campus and 14,000 students live in Alachua and 48,000 live outside of Alachua. And that is all that I can tell you based on what I was given. I can't really assume.
I understand that these are the numbers that were given and we have to work with these numbers, but in the most recent fall election, we had more than, what's the number, 131. We had more than 131 students vote for on-campus seats. And I imagine when they went to the polling site, they typed in their name, the computer gave them their on-campus ballot. So there's some database that correctly knows where people live based on that fact. And I understand we can't work based off of that.
Unfortunately, I am not given that. And
Sure.
I don't know why. I've requested as much data as I possibly can get. Trust me, I'm frustrated as well. I think we all are. Looking at this data set is very
It's
disappointing.
just comical. Like,
It's comical, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's something that we cannot work with. And I'm sorry for that.
I understand, and
Yeah.
you say we can't work with it, and yet we have to.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So I obviously have some concerns with continuing with the one district off-campus model. It is not representative of the students. Even looking at the final decade of the multi-district model, the elections 2012 through 2022, those are the last 10 elections that we used that model. Zip code 32608, excluding like COVID, for example, and a couple of extraneous elections where parties ran unopposed. Zip code 32608 voted differently than 32601 every election except for one. They voted together in one election. Lumping in, and that's just one example. Lumping in all these zip codes together blatantly ignores the fact why we have the ability to apportion different seats for different zip codes and different locations, because students who live in those different locations have vastly different student experiences. A student who lives right across from campus has a very, very different experience and different needs than a student who might live 15 minutes away from campus. And it's simply unacceptable to those students to lump them all into one big conglomerate. Now I understand this data is awful. It's awful, and we have to do the best we can with it. But I disagree with the chair's recommendation that a one campus model is the best we could do with this data.
I think that this is well, I think
That concludes the time.
okay, cool.
Would you guys like to continue debate, or should we move into? I mean, it's up to you guys if you have
I
more to
think we should
say.
continue, I would
Okay.
prefer to continue the debate.
I lay the committee, or is there a motion to lay the committee to rest until called back by the chair?
So moved.
Okay, the committee is laid to rest at